Tonight on the Adonis Black Show, the FDA bans food dye that's been in our snacks since Reagan. Kanye's confessions break the internet. The Pope checks out, and Trump finally says something bad about Putin, but only after 12 people die. We've got racial dress codes, billionaire tax dodgers, and just enough chaos to get you through the weekend. This is the Adonis Black Show, the only news show where we laugh to keep from crying. Let's go. So here's a fun fact. America is the only place where your cereal glows like a rave, your toothpaste looks like slime, and the government waits 30 years to ban something already proven to cause cancer. The FDA just announced it will phase out red dye number 3 by 2026. The same dye banned in cosmetics since 1990, but somehow they're still okay in our food, because what we put in our bodies matters less than what we put on our faces. This isn't some fringe conspiracy. Multiple studies have linked it to cancer and behavioral issues in children. Europe banned it years ago, but in the US, you get rainbow gummies, ADHD, and a congressional shrug. Why the delay? Money? The FDA doesn't have enough inspectors, staff, or independence. Industry lobbying controls the kitchen, and FDA is just a waiter saying, sorry, chef says that's totally safe. This is why our food system looks like a toddler designed it. Bright colors, no rules, and a lot of screaming afterward. The same people who want to ban books are fine with you eating Skittles that double as street paint. Make it make sense. Look, okay, so Pope Francis died this week at the age of 88. The Vatican said he passed peacefully. Twitter said, who's next? He was the cool Pope. Talked about climate change, called out capitalism, and made it seem like the church was getting progressive. He was like the woke uncle at Thanksgiving, still problematic, but at least he brings up climate change before dessert. Abuse scandals still rock the church. Women are still sidelined. And while he embraced marginalized people, the doctrine didn't always follow him. So now, the church picks a new pope. Will it be another modernizer, or will they hit the undo button to send us back to incense and fire and brimstone tweets? Like, our commander-in-chief. The church said we want progress, and then got scared when it showed up in red sneakers and talked about gay rights. Picking a pope is like rebooting an old sitcom. You hope it hits different, but deep down, it's just going to be whiter with better lighting. Mark it down, guys. April 24th, 2025. Donald Trump says something bad about Vladimir Putin. Somewhere, a MAGA hat just burst into flames. Look, after a deadly airstrike killed at least 12 people in Kiev, Trump issued a rare condemnation of Russia, calling the attack unjustified. Now, don't get it twisted. I don't think this was a moral stand. This was optics. Trump saw polling, saw a global backlash, and decided it was finally time to look like he has a backbone. Let's be real. This is the same guy who called Putin a genius when the war started. The same guy who tried to withhold military aid from Ukraine unless they helped him politically. He didn't grow a spine. He borrowed one from his PR team, and even they had to dust it off first. It's like seeing your toxic ex finally post an apology, but only because their new girlfriend found the receipts. Kanye, or as he's known now as Ye, dropped a confession this week that left everyone blinking in disbelief. He claimed via social media that he and a male cousin had a sexual relationship as children after discovering adult magazines in his mother's closet. That same cousin is now in prison for murder. Ye said he feels guilt, wondering if those early experiences affected who his cousin became. It's a lot to process. It's heavy, and it's also painfully public. This isn't about dragging someone for sharing trauma. It's about how fame turns healing into performance. Ye's feed is often a blend of confession, chaos, and contradiction. And it makes you wonder, is this transparency or a spectacle? Because with Ye, you can never be too sure. And this is probably one of the most disturbing things I've ever heard him say, which is he's a Nazi, so that's tough to beat. At this point, Kanye's feed needs a trigger warning, a therapist, and a moderator on standby. We've officially reached a part of the internet where trauma and trending topics overlap like a Venn diagram of exhaustion. This week, Goldman Sachs Vice Chair Richard Node is moving to Milan because the UK got rid of a tax loophole. Imagine being so rich you relocate for a tax math. Most people relocate for rent they can afford. When billionaires say I'm moving for personal reasons, what they mean is the IRS got way too close. Dude left London because the calculator started asking questions. Like, Miss McClanahan is suing a Baton Rouge restaurant after being denied entry for wearing a revealing outfit, even though white patrons wore similar things. Guess the dress code only applies when your melanin hits a certain shade. It's not a dress code, it's a vibe check for racism. If the code is casual racism, congrats. They nailed it. It's a new segment, our stupid world record of the week. Some guy in Idaho stacked 41 bars of soap on one finger. I'm not mad, just confused. That's not a record, that's a cry for help from someone who's definitely not doing dishes. Imagine going viral for hygiene and still being musty. Congrats on making Guinness. Now, go make friends. Food dyes, dead posts, disturbed rappers, tax loopholes, and Trump faking a conscience? It's been a week, but we made it. Remember, the chaos is by design. The goal is to exhaust you, but that's why we laugh. That's why we fight. That's why we keep showing up. Like, subscribe, share with your cousin and still eat Skittles like they're vitamins. Because if we don't laugh, we might just start yelling, and we've only got one mic. I'm Adonis Black. Stay loud, stay sharp, stay dangerous. See you next episode.